Fantasy managers, hello and welcome back to the FPL Addicts podcast. We're here for the Game Week 33 preview. I'm joined by the main mullet man himself. It's Chazza Roberts. Hello there, mate. How are you doing?
Hello, Rev. And speaking of a mullet, just secretly,
it's glorious.
It's getting longer.
It's glorious,
and
mate.
Longer.
It's the pinnacle of Australia, isn't it?
You would say it's the pinnacle of Australia, but it's also the pinnacle of how long I've been on the bottom of my mini league. I don't know what's longer, the amount of days I've been on the bottom or my hair growth at the moment. But I'm really looking forward to getting into Game Week 33. And certainly a deadline which can put a few managers under the bus. It's midweek. We've got to crack on.
I'm certainly hoping that some of the people in my mini leagues miss it. But if you're around here, hopefully you know that it is tonight and you won't miss the deadline that is slowly approaching, slowly but surely. But if you are new around here, make sure you give our podcast or our video some love with a like, a rating, or a review on our podcast, and give us a subscription as well. And so let's go to a little review of the Game Week 32 that's just gone before us. Some big games, some big results, some players that have caught the eye, some players that have been gone for a while and are back. But Charlie, I'll bring you in, mate. What was the game that stood out to you the most this past game week?
Well, I'll go back to my storyline mode at the moment. I was meant to get up. It would have been 5 a.m. for Arsenal v Southampton. And to blessing in disguise, I'm glad I did. Because
I can't imagine. So, yeah, for context for our listeners, Chazza is an Arsenal fan.
I am an Arsenal fan. Tragic in many ways. Drew 3-3. We needed 2 goals in the last 5 minutes just to salvage a point. It would have been 2-0 down in the first 15 minutes inside the Emirates. It was absolutely mind-blowing to start the week. Arsenal defence out the window, heading into the game at what would have been a very favourable fixture.
Top of the league versus the bottom of the league, and you think it's a pre-written story, but this is the Premier League, and this is what happened. You know, speaking of managers who are disappointed, like yourself, we've got Eben in the chat. Welcome, Eben. A good friend of mine.
That's not Evan Ferguson, who's just subscribed from Brighton, is he?
No, it's Eben Fatterotti. And he's a good mate of mine. He is a Newcastle fan. He'll be the lighter bony, Chazza.
E-I-E-I-E-I-O. Up the Premier League we go. That's what I would say. I wanted to just quickly touch base on Arsenal Southampton quickly. Yes. Later in that game, we did see the usual stars up front who did shine. In Odegaard, who scored a goal. Bukayo Saka would have been with a double-digit return plus Martinelli on the board. So if you did back the attackers, you fared okay from it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was there as a Gabriel owner, absolutely shaking my head. What do you reckon we do with our Arsenal assets going forward? Do you think that you have bottled the league?
It all comes down to Thursday morning, if anything. I feel the last 3 games, I'll talk about them quickly. The Liverpool game, I felt we were fortunate to get a point out of it. Liverpool played really well after the half-hour mark. The West Ham game was really poor on our behalf, but credit to West Ham for turning up. They go from 2 goals down to salvage a point. And that Southampton game just blew us out of the waters. I feel with the young squad we have, we're just getting tired now. With Man City, despite having 4 or 5 more games than us, which includes European commitments plus FA Cup commitments, I feel they may fare better only because of squad depth. Our first XI is arguably one of the best in the league, but we just don't have the depth, which is the same quality as Man City.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so it's looking bleak for the Arsenal fans out there. Shout out to Miriam in the comments as well. Really good to have you in.
I miss her.
Love the positivity from Miriam all the time. We do enjoy your comments. So yeah, let's move on to the other big talking point, which was Newcastle 6, Spurs
5 goals in
1.
20 minutes.
That was amazing.
Something. I was keen to go to bed. I watched it from my bed. Then 3 goals in 9 minutes. I thought, what's going on here? So just continuing tuning in. Yeah, making it 5-0. And I'm loving the social media videos of Spurs fans just walking out. And some are demanding a refund, which is courageous of them to say. But I think it's worthy from a fantasy football perspective. We talk about the Newcastle attackers. Joelinton shined for the first time in a while.
Yeah, he did.
Then you had Alexander Isak. Wilson got a goal himself. Jacob Murphy, which is a player.
We need to speak about him, don't we?
Yeah,
because he looks amazing. Yeah, so his first goal, I thought, was really good positioning in the box from him to be able to capitalise. You know, if you're not in there and you're not in and amongst it, you won't get in and amongst the goals, which he was. But then the second goal that he scored was just an absolutely pure strike. It was absolutely incredible goal. And it was almost like he couldn't believe it himself. Did you see his celebration, which was like, like big, massive open mouth? Speaking of big, massive open mouths, Chris Reed is with us in the chat. Hello, Reedy, FPL Addicts Reedy.
Hello, Reedy. For a second, when you were describing that, Rev, I thought you were talking about me.
No,
all season.
No, it's just because Reedy doesn't shut up, does he?
Yeah, that's right. Especially about his FPL side. It only goes down the drain each week.
It's been going well for him recently, unfortunately.
Oh,
yes, and Eben is a happy Newcastle fan, but not a happy FPL manager. He says it's not good when you score 6, but you have Bruno G who blanks and Pope and Trips concede. Oof. Ow, that is unfortunate to not get on the end of any returns there, mate. Unlucky.
It's an interesting one with Newcastle in some games this season. I'm sure they scored 5 away at Southampton, 5 away at West Ham, and 6 are home to Spurs now. But in each of the games, they've managed to concede. I think Trippier got an attacking return against Southampton. But with those big score lines, not many managers feast onto the attackers that are available. Everyone has Trippier, and if lucky, maybe one extra Newcastle player. But I don't feel as fantasy managers generally, when it's a Newcastle drubbing, they get as many points as they really should. And now you're huge rank climb opportunities, those sorts of games.
Yeah, it's great. I think there's another game that we should really talk about, a high-scoring game, a 5-goal thriller, which was Liverpool 3, Forest 2. That could have been 5-5. I reckon. It really could have. I think the big talking point for that from me was, I came on the podcast last week, was trying to tell all of you managers who were on your free hit teams to go and get Diego Jota. Some of yous were going for Gakpo.
No, shut up, man. Come on. Just shut up.
What do you mean, shut up? It's like I hate to say I told you so. No, in fact, I love to say I told you so. And I'm telling you, I told you so. I can't believe there were people out there going for Gakpo when Diego Jota exists. We know what he can do. And the thing is, he's, regardless of whether or not he was on your free hit, players like Diego Jota have to be on your team. They do. And so, yeah. And he's certainly one to consider over the next couple of weeks for bringing in. But this is how I got on this week.
You got along well.
Yeah, considering I didn't have a free hit. Also, was not expecting.
You beat me, and I played my free hit. What does that tell you?
Yeah, we actually was not expecting Fraser Forster to play, but he came on and got a cheeky 45 minutes, which was amazing because even though Spurs lost 6-1, right?
Alan conceded 1 goal.
Well, the thing is, Jack, who's got Perisic as a defender, I had the Tottenham goalkeeper and still outscored him in terms of Tottenham defense points, which is just unbelievable for that to happen. So of course, looking at my back four there, Foster, Gabriel, Trippier, and Kilman, we can just realise that clean sheets just don't exist in FPL anymore. They just don't happen, unless you're playing against Everton, of course. And then Saka getting the returns finally. Martinelli coming in clutch there with the 9-pointer as well. Mohamed Salah, the captain, getting the consistent returns as he has been, as usual. Good to captain him. Thinking about carrying on captaining him this coming week, but we'll talk about that a bit later.
It's a really good shout. It's a luxury to have.
Yeah.
Owning Mo at the moment.
Yeah, it really is. And then the obvious other person to talk about is
Isaac.
Yeah, incredible.
Love
he took his
him.
goal so well. Like if I'm Eben and I'm in the chat and I'm watching my striker play in the form that he's in, I'm having a great time. And Ozspike as well. Shout out to Ozspike has said Isaac is getting in a few more teams. I think people need to be really getting onto him right now, especially considering Newcastle's doubles that they've got coming up. Are you an Isaac owner there, Chazza? A proud one?
I'm not, but I love that Swedish man. I really do. It brings so much excitement into the game. But before getting on to the next point, we know these sorts of blank game weeks can catch people by surprise. So I've got just a brief tale to share with you. Someone missed the deadline, okay? And they had about 5 blank players on the field. But their captain for this game week was Rashford, who didn't have a game. And then I think it would have been Bruno Fernandes, vice captain, and he didn't even have a game. So he had no double points. He missed the deadline.
Who was this?
Look, one of my friends, Oscar. I hope he doesn't watch this episode. So
ouch.
I know.
Unlucky. Yeah, you got to make sure you get them deadlines. And so, yeah, if you have just joined us, do realise that the game week 33 deadline is later tonight. Don't miss it. Make sure you make your transfers so that you are in the best position possible to attack the game week. Don't forget to sort your bench out, your goalkeepers, and don't forget to sort your captain and your vice captain. Eben is another person who's definitely coming in. He's one of the few managers who are smugly sat there with their wild card, so he's going to be wild carding, of course. Yeah. Yes, Chaz.
Question about this Isaac move: would you take Ollie Watkins out for him because he doesn't have another double for the rest of the season?
It's interesting because I think right now you need. I think personally you need 3 forwards.
You do
in your team, of
so
course.
Who's your choices?
The question is
which 3 on field.
Yeah, so personally, I think Ollie Watkins is one of them that you kind of have to have. Well, not have to, obviously, but for me, I'm really scared of his effective ownership, and especially against Fulham. Right now, my armband is on Ollie Watkins to play against Fulham. But then the other one is Haaland.
No.
And then the other one for me is between Jota and Isaac.
Okay.
And
no Kane.
There's just no well, that's the thing. So you got Isaac, Watkins, Jota, Haaland, and Kane. Which 3? Like, and they're all really good options.
Well, Liverpool have a double in 34 too.
Exactly, which maybe is making me
think
I need to keep Watkins this week, and then in game week 34, potentially when I think Villa play United, maybe we move from Watkins
to Jota
to Diego Jota, and maybe try and bite the bullet when he no doubt he's going to bang in those fixtures against Wolves and Spurs that he's got after the United game. So, are you sharing your screen, by the way, Shazza? So we can have a look.
I haven't got onto it, but I can if you like. Would you like me to?
I mean, we do this every time we do the pod, mate. Where we review what points you got.
So this is mine. I think it's coming to the fray at the moment. No, that's not it. I think you got to swap into my screen, Rev.
It's Jack. He's in the background because.
What's he doing? You could just go from your laptop, Rev. Like, get out of your team and then just log in. Go into mine.
Yeah. So I could go.
Because who knows how long Jack's going to be on that call. So let's go to our mini league.
Yeah, where are we? FPL Addicts Podcast League. There we go.
Man,
oh my days!
On the bottom. I've been on the bottom for a while. There you go.
Yeah. So tell us what happened here, mate.
Some punts definitely failed. I really like the matchup of Arsenal's against Southampton out the back, going from the back in Gabriel, but that was gone after a minute. Gakpo, yeah, it's a hard one. I felt I underestimated the arrival of Diogo Jota. Eberidge at SA, I expected more from Crystal Palace in that game at home to Everton. They beat them 3-1 at Selhurst last season, and Eze has flourished so much under the return of Roy Hodgson. Saka and Salah did their bits. I felt Salah could have got more out of that game, if anything. And Kane got a goal in a 6-1 defeat. We've seen that movie before. Watkins blank. I felt it wasn't a successful outcome with the free hit shit.
Yeah, I don't know how I outscored you with eight players.
You're the absolute governor. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I'm the governor. The thing is, though, I think there's a couple of things that we need to kind of talk about, which is, I think in general, defensive assets are just not worth having at all.
They're not.
In general.
It's a shame because you can't have a 5-5-0 formation in this game.
Yeah, you really can't. And so, like, Harry Kane can get, like, absolutely blasted 6-1, but he'll get the one, and which is great. And I think you were unfortunate, mate. I think you were really unfortunate not to get anything out of Trips. And Pinnock as well. Like, it's just for me, just one of those where you just think people wouldn't be getting more clean sheets. But we got a quick question.
I love questions. I'm surprised people are tuning in, to be honest.
From Cristiano Ronaldo himself. I didn't know he played fancy football, but Cristiano Ronaldo says, would you start Henry and Kepa or Raya and Chilwell? What would you do, mate?
If this is a coming game week, Chelsea are playing Brentford, so I'm not sure what the difference would be. So it's Kepa and Henry, or who was the other one? Raya and Chilwell?
Yeah.
I'll go the second one.
Yeah, I agree. I think the second one, mate. So Cristiano Ronaldo, you are one of the all-time greats of football, but we know that you come to the FPL Addicts for your FPL advice.
Oh, jeez. I think you said a great word to epitomise my fortune this season. That's been unfortunate.
Yeah.
And it recalls back to the time where I somehow met up with you in person and Spurs and Villa were playing on New Year's Day and Perisic got 1 point, so did Kepa.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, that was a sad time. Welcome, by the way, Colm in the chat.
Colm, he's on.
Yes, and he says, is wildcard front three is Haaland, Isak, and Jota, and I think, to be honest,
that's good.
It's really good. He says the only thing he's not sure about is Jota's game week 33 and 34 minutes with the quick turnaround. I think the thing is, though, I think we said this about Ollie Watkins earlier, is that, like, Aston Villa were in form and they didn't have an amazing run of fixtures, right? But Ollie Watkins kept banging, and we, as FPL managers, a lot of us felt like we were forced to bring him in just because we were just so afraid of missing out. I think Jota, even if he plays 60 minutes, he could get 2 and an assist. He's just in that good a form at the moment. So, Colm, I think your front three is objectively correct, really. I think that would be my ideal front three at the moment, but I'm not complaining about not having Ollie Watkins against Fulham at home this week at the same time. So let's have a look at some of the other managers in our mini league. So we've had a look at us two, or rock bottom. We've got Morton Here's a Who from Ollie Walker Peel.
What has stood out straight away about this side? He's backed in Pereira, and it was a good game week too.
Yeah, it was a great shout, Andreas Pereira, with some good stuff. I think Fulham do have a cheeky double coming up as well in 34. So if you
No,
fancy
just
playing
ignore
against City and Liverpool,
Ignore it. Let's move on
then
to
you
the
could,
next player.
yeah. And then Reedy's Renegades. He's doing
This was a
quite
good
well.
game, mate. So he went for.
Yeah, 68 points, free hit played.
So he got Salah,
Salah as a captain.
Martinelli, Saka. Isaac is probably the standout shout from this side, and Ben White, I think, got an assist too.
Yeah, he did, and so the Trent Alexander-Arnold, which is great. And I think what you need right now, because we're not getting clean sheets from our defenders, is you need defenders that have attack and threat. And so, Trent and White, they've been doing quite well recently, especially Ben White. He must be a pleasure to watch as an Arsenal fan, mate.
His revolution inside our football club's been marvel to watch.
Yeah.
I really liked it how he scored his first goal against Bournemouth too. I felt it meant so much to him, as along with the clean sheets he secured through the course of the season.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So let's move off from Reedy's to Gillas Killers FC. 65 points.
The worm has come out about him. He's currently on a call with Troy Hawk because they're looking for a Greatest Guild employee into the Melbourne Victory next social function.
Amazing. So is he going to invite the Nordic Meat Shield?
Look, I can only hope so. Or the fabulous symmetrical face Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
Let's get to the team first. Saka, Isaac. Look, I mean, if you had the names with SAK within, then you had a really good game week, players wise. Saka and
Isaac.
Yeah.
This was interesting from Jack.
Yeah, so Neco Williams.
Yeah, Neco Williams was a player of his.
And he scored a goal, or I can't see.
Yeah, he did. He did score a goal.
That's nuts. Away at Anfield.
Against his former club. Yeah, 65 points.
That is a good game week.
And he captained Martinelli, which is a great shout.
Really good shout.
And so, yeah, he's just doing quite well. We've
still got Solomon.
Just a bunch of attack and returns. Yeah, Solomon, you know what, was probably a pretty good shout. Unfortunately, he only got 4 minutes played. But I think, he's not been playing that many minutes, and ever since the loss at Bournemouth, when they were going from these in this bad run of form over here between Brentford, Arsenal, Bournemouth, and West Ham, he since got dropped against Everton, where they won, and then they won against Leeds, where he only played 4 minutes as well. So maybe Marco Silva is seeing that you might be part of the problem, not the solution. Yeah. And Reedy says that Gillas has got pretty jammy with Neco's points. Of course, it was a shot on target that did get deflected. So yeah, Jack yet again proven that it's better to be lucky than good at FPL. And then last but certainly not least, we've got Botman and Robin. A free hit played with 68 points. A pretty solid free hit team.
It is good.
Yeah. And this man as well, who we've not talked about.
Ivan Toney.
As well. Tony. And with a lovely little 9-pointer rewarding his owners there. Obviously the goal and the bonus points coming in. So that leaves Elliot Craig on top of our pod. And so, yeah, let's move on to the next part of the podcast. I think we're going to talk about the transfers in and the transfers out that people are making. Going to wait for Jack to potentially arrive and do the other bit. But no worries if he's not able to do that. So let's look at the people that are being transferred in, Chazza.
Absolutely.
Go on, you take us through it, mate.
I'm going to take the cake on this one. So we've got Nordic Midfield, top transfer in. No, actually, let's go number 5.
Oh, yeah.
Fabulously symmetrical face with 201,000 transfer new owners heading into the game. Jack Grealish, who's performed exceptionally well for City within the last few game weeks. In fact, since after World Cup, Alexander Isak, a Swedish meat shield in the fourth most transfer in with
The
223,000
Swedish
euros.
meat shield.
There's always these different flavours. Diogo Jota,
Yeah.
pretty much the same amount. Marcus Rashford with 323,000 new owners, but the most transfer in with good reason heading into game week 33. Which is the Nordic Meat Shield with 403,000 new owners. At home to Arsenal, followed by a double game week in 34, where City are away at Fulham and at home to West Ham in pursuit for yet and potentially another league title.
Brilliant. So, are there any of these players that are in the most transferred in that you've got a particular eye on yourself, mate?
The Jota one's interesting.
It is.
Because I feel Kane could go next game week and Jota comes in. But Jota's game coming up is sensational. For Liverpool attackers in general, it has been in the past. Jack Grealish, I think, is a really good shout as an outside City pick to put in your own team. You could say Isak as well. And the other two I have.
Great. Great. I think definitely I'm going to be watching any Liverpool content from behind the sofa this week, as I've had other fires to put out this week because Jota is definitely on form and I'm still not able to bring him in, unfortunately. The transfers out. We've got Harry Kane, the most transferred out player. Is that controversial? Do you think? Do you think this is correct,
It's
Charlie?
strange because I remember mentioning this so many times this season. He's been so consistent. Yet I feel managers are swerving towards players who have doubles heading into the run until the end of the season. He's still scoring okay. Maybe Tottenham's form in general has played a role for managers wanting to transfer him out.
Yeah. So this is what I mean. It's like Harry Kane isn't doing badly in terms of an FPL sense, only in terms of like a Premier League sense. So yeah, it is quite interesting that he's gone out. Again, another one who's quite controversial is Tony. Is that and I think it could have a lot to do with the Kane and Tony being the most transferred out could be a lot to do with Jota and Isak being two of the most transferred in. I think going forward, Jota and Isak, they both just look like potentially really good options moving forward. So yeah, who are you targeting then? Going into game week 33, I'll bring in my.
Before I touch on your latest question, Tony, the reason why he's getting transferred out a lot is because of Brentford's fixtures for the season running.
Yeah.
To be frank, they are quite disgusting. Now, 3 of them rated as a 4, and they have to play City at home, Spurs away, go to Anfield, and go to Stamford Bridge on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Which is quite rough for Brentford. I think I'll finish the season okay, but I'm just not sure for fantasy relevance. They're continuous.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what transfers I've made. I'm sick of Chelsea. It was kind of a rage transfer, this one, which was I got rid of my Chelsea goalkeeper, which was Steele, and no, I got rid of my Chelsea goalkeeper, which was Kepa, and Ben Chilwell. Got rid of both of them for Steele and Stupinan. When your grandma's feeling quite stupid, she is a stupid nan. So I thought you'd like that one, Chazza, to be honest.
Yeah.
That little joke there, but your face was as robotic as Ellen Haaland's. Yeah, so, and then I'm not... So I think I'm benching Luke Shaw. I'm going to play Kilman. I think I'm going to play Trippier. But my bench looks controversial. So I've got Martinelli on the bench at the moment. Because who do I drop here, mate? Like, what would you do with this?
So you got Salah, McAllister, who's away at Forest.
Yeah.
You got Saka, you got Grealish, you got Watkins. Isaac. I see that's really hard. And Arsenal away at City. Yeah, that is
the
hard.
hardest fixture, man. But at the same time, Martinelli, let's just look at him for a second. In his
He returns
what did
okay
he
in big
get?
games.
Yeah, let's have a look. So 13 points against Liverpool. Obviously big game, 16 points against Everton. Last time he played Man City at home, he blanked. United blanked. Tottenham blanked. Newcastle blanked. Chelsea blanked. Maybe he just likes playing against Liverpool because he got a 12-pointer earlier in the year. So yeah, I think it's one of them, mate, where I think maybe he might be good in big games, or maybe it's just against Liverpool. I think I don't know. People watching in the comments, tell us, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
Okay, so with this Martinelli benching, people are going to disagree with us, but if there's one player to put on your bench because of it, I'm going for McAllister. I know he's got an injury doubt from what
Mate,
I've heard.
I've just realised something. I'm an idiot.
What's that?
You know what? I made that transfer realising that I shouldn't have done that because Steele got dropped, didn't he? Oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh no.
So,
gosh.
who's your backup? Oh, you got Fraser Foster.
Who's not nailed either. I've just took a -4.
Oh, this is why I love podcasts, to be fair with you. But maybe Martinelli goes in for McAllister. The only reason why is because Forest's home track record this season is actually pretty good.
Well, because the thing is, I wanted to maybe go for Edison later because they've got loads of fixtures that are really good. But they play against Arsenal this week, so it just didn't feel right. Right, okay. Come on, chat. Work with me now.
Yeah.
2.4 mil. I've
away
got
from home.
Okay.
They've scored 7 goals all season, and that's by far the worst.
Restore the player.
But at home, they've been a lot better.
So let's have a look.
19.
Goalkeepers. We're taking another -4 on stream.
Yeah, we're doing a bit of a transfer workshop here. This is great.
What are we doing here? Because your boy FPL Reverend has committed the sin by transferring a player. In that isn't even going to play. I hate goalkeepers this season, man. Why always me, man? I feel like Mario Balotelli. It's always me. Every time goalkeepers, it's just something bad happens. The Ward Iverson's thing at the start of the season. And then as soon as I get rid of Ward, Leicester go on a mad run of clean sheets. And then I bring in Kepa and he does okay. And then he just goes utter poo-poo for about 12 games. Oh, man. Wait for the Zebri presser in 45 minutes. Yeah, you know what, Ozbike, that's actually good advice. Let's listen to that presser.
So, Rev, how much money have you got in the bank?
Well, let's restore the player. 2.4 mil.
Yeah, so if you take Steele out, you have 6.3.
Yeah, exactly. We can get any goalkeeper that we want. But I'm trying to save. I'll tell you how much money that I rarely have.
I love this. This is great.
Because
Rev's having a mare.
Yeah.
But I've had a mare since.
I've really got an extra 1.1 mil because I want to go Watkins to Jota next week.
3.9. Yeah, you could get. What about Kepa?
What about Kepa? I've just took him out, mate.
Why?
Because I'm an idiot.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, what an absolute whopper.
So who are you thinking now?
No one. Right, let's move on. Anyway, let's move on.
I was going to say this is quite.
What about your team? Let's get your team up from last week.
Of course, that's if it's allowed to be shared. Because
podcast.
Mine's in the background. Oh, cool. We got it. Excellent. So I'm thinking of rolling. We've got 1.9 mil in the bank, but you could take advantage in certain areas. However, I'm looking into creating an emphasis on double game week 34. Harvey Barnes is an interesting one because Leeds away does help, but right now he's on the bench for me because I'd rather back for 2 Brighton midfielders away at Nottingham Forest. What happened a couple of game weeks ago is it was Tottenham-Brighton. Matoma was on field. March was first on the bench, and March got the assist.
Sorry.
That's all right. I'm thinking of just rolling and going for the 2-3 transfers, but it is worth being aggressive and just taking a transfer this week. Pinnock away at Chelsea for me on field does give me a feeling of being uncomfortable. I'll give you that. There's a lot of uncomfortable matches here, to be fair with you.
Yeah. I feel like Kane to Jota could just be an excellent shout.
It would be an excellent move. I'd love to get Salah too, if anything.
Yeah.
I think Kane to Jota's good.
Yeah.
Watkins stays for this game week because Fulham at home's not a bad matchup. 2 Brighton midfielders away at Forest. I don't know. I think it's even worth getting Barnes on field. I know Jack laughed at me last game week for having somehow Barnes there, but I don't know. It's the way it is.
It's the Mr. Chris Reed.
Hang on. How'd you get on?
Welcome, Reedy, mate. You know what, Reedy? You're just in time because unfortunately I have to go. The Burger King has summoned me to a meeting and I do have to leave. So, Reedy, thank you for taking over. Chazza, it's been a pleasure, mate, and I'll catch you in a bit.
Appreciate you. No worries.
Take it away.
Oh my God. I tell you what,
this is an automatic substitution. I love it.
I was going to say, mate,
37-minute mark, off injured, incoming on. Chris Reed, onto the FPL Addicts podcast for game week 33. Reedy, welcome to the show. Right now, we're just doing team selection, heading into what is, I think, is the 6th last game week for the season. Just working out my numerology there. With double game week 34 coming up, and a lot of thinking is behind what we're going to do in due course. Reedy, how was your game week? How was your weekend? I don't know where to start.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, mate. Free hit, obviously, could have went a bit better. Benching.
That was pretty good, 68.
Johnston and last-minute calls. I had Andreas and Jota both in there, and obviously I trust the Fulham clean sheet, which, to be fair, Leeds didn't score till the 78th, and I think it was a bit of a jammy goal, but it is what it is. And yeah, the weekend was good, my brother. So yeah, it's a good job I came on really when I did, because Rev just bailed on us, didn't he? You know,
I hope he's okay.
I think the Steele transfers, it's messed him up a bit.
But I think my presence just scared him for the evening. That's the only way to go about it.
Yeah, I hope he's okay, like you say. But yeah, mate, looking at ahead to the game week deadline, which is today. If you're in the UK, you know,
yes,
6:30. I don't know what time it is down under for you.
I think it's 6 o'clock your time. Mine's 3 a.m., but I'm getting up 4 because Wolves versus Palace is where it's at. If you're ever thinking of good destinations to take your first date anywhere, it's Wolves Palace, not to a fancy restaurant.
Yeah. Sorry, just interrupted a little call there, but live on YouTube. But yeah, no, it's 6 p.m. You're right. It is at 6 p.m. So, what time is that for you then? Did you say?
It's 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
But more importantly, I got 1 free transfer, 1.9 mil in the bank. What move should I make this week? Rev has suggested to do Kane to Diogo Jota.
Oof, tricky one. I mean, I think obviously the Harvey Barnes one, he's back now, by the way. Should be playing for
I think he should come on field, but I don't know who 4 out of the Brighton mids.
The difficulty you've got is you've got some great players in that midfield already. So it is difficult. I think personally, I think the Kane transfer to Jota, you might as well do it now. I mean, have you got a plan for the doubles in 34 and further on than that?
not for the meantime. I think Haaland goes triple captain next game week because I've still got that to use up. And it's good fixtures for him too.
Yeah, some really, really good fixtures. But I think if you wanna get some Liverpool in there, I think and that's your easiest route. I don't think you can get Salah, can you? So
No.
Jota seems like the guy to go for.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, mate. I don't hate it, but then I do feel like those Harvey Barnes points could be sat on the bench and come back to bite you. I think with your team, is this your final team for 33, or have you still?
Yeah, as it stands, I think Barnes comes on, but who does he go on for? I think Solly March, but March could still whip out an assist.
Yeah, who's the Newcastle defender there? I can't see them at the bottom of the
yeah, that's right. That's Dan Burn.
And you've got.
Does he come on for Pinnock?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
As much as you can't trust the Chelsea defence, I mean, can you trust the Everton attack?
Probably not.
As much as you can't trust either attack, I want to say, not Chelsea defence. But I mean, I think going with the double Newcastle, there's nothing wrong with that with Everton and how rubbish they are. But
double Chelsea, double Newcastle, that's a whack defence.
Yeah, it's not great. But Ozspike's got a little bit of a recommendation for you here. But you only got one transfer or two?
I got one. I wouldn't have minded doing just rolling and then going for the two next week, but I don't mind this suggestion myself. And I think Saka's tired now.
Yeah, he maybe does look a bit tired. I think with Arsenal, the issue is they've only got one fixture. They've got no doubles coming up and so on. So it does make it quite tricky in that respect. So I think
I'll take that on board. Thanks, Ozspike.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm rolling this week just because I wanna. How I'm looking at it is that information is key. The more information, the better. We've got a quick turnaround. We've got games we've just had at the weekend, midweek, then back to the weekend again. And you never know, there could be injuries this week. And I'm thinking I'll have 2 free transfers for 34. I could get to doubles if I need them. I've got the information. You know what I mean? So it depends. I think the lineup you've got, the players you've got in here are good enough. I think the only fire I'd want to put out, because Kane could score against Man United, albeit Spurs are being really rubbish at the minute. He seems to be getting a goal every game still. I think you could potentially move out a defender that is worth moving. I mean, I wouldn't hate it if you rolled and just left it and just went for the, prayed for the Chelsea clean sheet. It could happen. You just don't know. They could get James could get a rare attack in return. So I think that's your best option, as in either Kane for Jota or you roll, mate.
Yeah, it's good. And I don't mind the Kane to Greenwood, Saka to Salah suggestion either.
For a -4. And then you've got Salah for the double already.
I would have Salah for the double, but also.
Well, you can do the Kane to Jota in one move and easily.
Yeah.
So.
If I do Kane to Greenwood, Greenwood would go on the bench. Harvey Barnes would go on field alongside and play a 3-5-2, which I wouldn't mind.
There's that as well, actually. And then you're not taking your -4. You're going into next week, albeit with one transfer still, but you're not -4, going to game week 34. So, yeah, actually, I probably prefer that, if anything. Kane, downgrade Kane, play Barnes, good fixture against Leeds tonight.
It is.
And that could be points, mate. Yeah,
there you go.
Got a few options. Right. Good stuff. But yeah, this I don't know what you and the Rev kind of had planned for the stream in terms of
that's all good. I think we need to look at. We've talked about game week 34 preparation. Who to target for the coming game week? Newcastle assets. Which 3 would you have at the moment?
It's
a hard one.
Alexander Isak, the Swedish yogurt, Swedish, what do they call him? Schlongslinger. At the moment, this guy. I
called him the Swedish meat shield because I ran out of ideas.
Yeah, but this guy at the moment, he's hard to resist in FPL. The form he's in, and it's Newcastle absolutely thumping Spurs. You've got Everton, who are shocking as well at the minute. Albeit it's away, you'd expect Newcastle to be full of confidence. So for me, it's Isak. He's first name on the team sheet. If you're gonna go for someone, And then I would say the likes of Trippier is still good to own.
Yeah, this third one's hard.
Yeah, but for me, it's easy. I think with the amount of attacking options, amount of options we've got in midfield, for me, it's got to be possibly Shaw or Share, however you say it. I mean, that guy just racks up assists. It's crazy. Some of the long balls he can play. You know, he's a threat from set pieces. I think over Botman and Pope and Byrne, Shaw is the next option for me, because otherwise you're looking at Almirons, you're looking at Joelingtons, and you know, can you fit them in really to our midfields with having the doubles coming up, which Newcastle don't have in 34, right?
Newcastle have a double game
at home. Yeah, it's Southampton at home in 34 to single fixture. So you know, yeah. So I like those three for me: Trippier, Sherv, and Isak. And you know, there's another option for you as well, Chazza. If you fancy Newcastle to still carry on this form, and you think, right, I'll take out Kane for Isak. So you could do that, as you do have that third Newcastle option. So yeah, mate, that for me is the standout three players.
Yeah. I think it's best to also talk about the assets of City and Arsenal, because the question is has Arsenal bottled it? I briefly touched on it as you just came on about Saka being a little tired. What's your take on it? Who should we target exactly from both sides, or is it more targeting one side than the other?
I think the Southampton game did kind of then mean Arsenal have maybe bottled it more than people were saying when they dropped points against Liverpool and West Ham, because albeit that Arsenal had 2-0 leads in those games and they went on to draw, you know, they were tough fixtures. They were both away. They did get a little bit too, maybe I'd say, overconfident. And the Southampton game really, really threw people. That's when people thought, wow, do you know what? Southampton, the poorest team in the league, or the bottom of the table, they're coming to the Emirates and you know, they're sticking it to Arsenal. So I think in that respect, you could now say they've maybe bottled it. And I think that City are so relentless. You know, they've won these league titles before. They're in the business end. They're playing good football. Pep seems to just have them purring at the minute, even in the Champions League. And now they've got something that they didn't have last season, which is someone who can put the ball in the back of the net in Haaland. So that in itself scary. And Arsenal don't have Saliba, which for me, he's one of the, you know, when he's in the team, he's one of the best players. Yeah. So that's going to be difficult with Rob Holding playing. Everyone's expecting Haaland to just be licking his lips and manage to take the mick out of Holding. So for me, it's got to be Haaland. He's number one. After that, you know, take your pick really between Grealish, Mahrez, one of those two. And you know what? I don't mind the idea of squeezing a City defender in if it can be done. I don't know. Diaz is probably the most nailed. If you've got the money for him, maybe take a punt on John Stones. But you know, it's if you kind of want to go there. What would you say, Chaz? I mean, Arsenal. I think we've all had Arsenal, haven't we? Saka, Jesus, Martinelli. You don't want to probably bring those players in, do you?
I think the boat bringing them in now is past. If you hold on to one of them, if you still have Martinelli since the start of the season, you may as well hold him until the season's out. If you've held Saka for a good while now, and you've built a good amount of team value from him, may as well hold on to him.
Yeah,
that's how I see it. I was thinking of Odegaard, but I don't know how much he's rose since the start of the season off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Odegaard, he might be about 6.7 at the minute. I'm not 100% on that, but yeah, I think it's just difficult because City have so many doubles now, along with obviously Brighton. It's so difficult now to kind of have any players in. I've still got Zinchenko sat there on my bench as well, so I don't know what I'm going to do with him because I don't really want him anymore. So the only Arsenal guy I've got in now is Saka. That's it left in terms of that I want to potentially start, just like yourself there, having Saka in because he is capable with Nathan Ake out of doing some damage to City. So yeah, it's tough. As Spike saying there, he's saying it's Arsenal next 4 game weeks are tough.
Yeah.
doubles. So yeah. But any other topics that you want to talk about in regards to any of the fixtures, any of the players that maybe are worth taking a look at, or are we pretty much set on sort
I
of?
think we're pretty much set. We've had a good discussion on certain players and certain sides. But speaking of something that starts with C, and I haven't done this for a while, I think it's time for me to bring back my captain's corner. So I'm just going to do that because, hey, look, it's 10 o'clock. I'll get up at 4. Let's watch Wolves Palace, and I'm just going to run the show. Let's shut up shop early. So let's go straight into captains for game week 33. I need to speak about 33.
I've removed them from the yes. Sorry, Chaz.
Oh, man. Well, what'd you do? All I'm going to say, according to Troy Hawk, 33 is the most universally and recognise number. But seriously, I've run off 5 hours of sleep. I don't know what's going on.
You're in
the world.
Yeah,
number 33 is the most loved number in the world. But let's get straight into captains more importantly. Start Mo Salah, the Egyptian, who's just soared out of nowhere in recent times. In his last 7 league games, he's scored 7 goals, 2 assists, back to his vintage best. And we have seen it in seasons before. Let's talk about his recent record against Hammer Time. Against West Ham, he's had 9 goals and 3 assists in his last 11 league appearances against David Moyes' team. And he's only 2 points behind the top scoring midfielder in fantasy football this season. That is Arsenal's Gabriel Martinelli. We did critique Salah in some patches this campaign on how slow he's been and how unreliable. Maybe his time's up, but he's only 2 points behind. There's only 6 game weeks to go. That's how much of a champion he is. A worthy mention is his teammate up front in Diogo Jota, who scored 4 goals and had an assist in his last 2 game weeks. And we mentioned this earlier in the pod. He is the 3rd most transferred in. We go to the second option. We've talked about this guy many weeks now. Erling Haaland at home to Arsenal. He scored last time against his side away at the Emirates in game week 23. He scored 4 goals in his last 2 game weeks, similar to Jota, if you ask me. But within those 2 games, neither of them were 90-minute matches. One, he got subbed off at halftime. The other, he only played 68 minutes away at Southampton. The last time he blanked at home was game week 16 at home to Brentford. And on that day, Ivan Toney scored a brace. City also have a double game week 34 head. We've mentioned this, but if you've just tuned in at the minute, it's Fulham away and West Ham at home. Most transferred in with 400,000 new owners and into this game week. Another captaincy option, but also the most transferred out of all sorts. I'll go Harry Kane, but first I'll dust off the area he could improve on the most. And that's his abysmal record against the Red Devils. 16 appearances, 5 goals, 2 assists. But we'll go to his road to consistency this season. He scored 6 goals in his last 6 Premier League games. He's blanked on 8 of his 32 league appearances he's made this season, which means he's got a 75% return strike rate in terms of games he's returned in. A surprising stat about Man United, they've conceded the 5th most goals in their away games this season. Only 5 sides have conceded more in Forest, Leeds, Leicester, Bournemouth, and Tottenham. And the differential curveball one, we mentioned this guy. I mentioned this bloke early in the season whenever it came to curveball captaincy option. And that is Alexander Isak from Newcastle. He's going away to Goodison Park. 7 league games, 7 league goals. It includes 2 league braces in that time. He's got a double in game week 36, which one of them includes it being at home to Brighton. Less than 10% ownership right now. Currently, he's a differential. That's only going to shoot. And just like Elton John's Rocket Man, it's going to skyrocket. He has scored the 2nd most points of any player in the last 6 game weeks with 48. Only the man who has flourished under Unai Emery in Ollie Watkins has scored more in that time with 55. And that's it for my captain's corner. Wish you all the very best for this midweek, game week 33. Get yourself off mute. You've been watched by
I'm
live.
on mute. Excellent, Chazza. Loved it, mate.
Thank you. In terms of what you said, we haven't actually had time for Bonus Bank or EPL Live yet. But what I can do at the moment, I'll give a quick shout out to our wonderful application in the EPL Live app. If you've not downloaded it already, then you got to get onto it now. We're all using our new partner and preferred Premier League app, EPL Live by Sportsmate, built by football fans for the football fans. It combines live scores with the most in-depth team and player stats alongside all the latest breaking football news and video highlights. And not just news from the Premier League, but news from all of the different European leagues worldwide. The link to download is in the caption below, but also it's on our link tree, which you can find the link on our FPL Addicts Pod Instagram page.
There we go.
And thanks for doing that too.
There we go. Love it, because it absolutely spitballed it out there, bud. Brilliant.
And we also don't mean to intervene. We also got the bonus bank time before, just after we've done our Game Week 33 team selection. Bonus bank is a free fantasy football tool this season to help people with their FPL mini leagues. The tool displays the clean sheet probabilities for each side and which player is likely to score. This is useful in determining the best defenses and the players to pick, as well as assisting with those captaincy choices, who I've just mentioned before. This week's top 3 sides in terms of clean sheet probabilities, we start with, Man City go away to Fulham next. That doesn't make sense. But first, we've got Newcastle away at Everton with a 49.6% chance of keeping a clean sheet. We'll get back onto clean sheet shortly. We'll go to the top 3 players to score based on their probabilities. Third is Julian Alvarez for Man City against Arsenal with a 40.4% chance to score. Second is Harry Kane with 41.32% chance to score at home to United. And of course, top is Erling Haaland at home to Arsenal with just under 55% chance to score. Hello there, Jack. Welcome to a podcast.
Oh God, Chazza. Brilliant, mate. So yeah, just flew it all out. Statman over here, aren't you? You're the new Statman.
Flying Chazza.
Smashed it, mate. So yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Smashed it, mate. Boys, you've carried it. I see Mikey flaked off. Bit of sickness, was it, from him?
I think he's
50% chance. 50% chance of making it this weekend.
Yeah,
this week,
flagged.
Game week.
Yeah, I think he made a move that he maybe wasn't too happy with, Jack.
Oh, Jason Steele.
He brought in Steele, and he kind of doesn't know if he's going to play. He's took a -4. His head's gone, basically.
And that gave him a fever, the seagull fever.
So he's caught what he's got. Bloody hell. is that the news? Is that the news that Steele's not fit?
Well,
is that right?
Well, the narrative was Steele came in for the Premier League games. Remember when we were talking on the podcast a few weeks back?
Yeah, I thought Sanchez was playing cups, wasn't he? In cups.
Sanchez was maybe for the cups. However, Steele was sick recently, and Sanchez played against United. He had a good game, to be fair. And now we don't really know who's going to start. And Revs brought Steele in for Kepa. Kepa guaranteed to start, and Revs basically shot his pants. So,
oh God.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for the press conference from the Zerbi, won't we? And I think Rev will be doing a bit of praying.
He will be praying. But listen, top work, boys. Good stuff tonight. Nice to see you on radio as well. You flew in.
Jump in.
Last minute, carried the team, mate. I hope everything's been good. You've been a good stream. I'm sure you've covered plenty of points. Where are you up to now?
Well, we're done, mate.
Do you not want to talk about all my moves last week and you giving it big uns and me still finishing higher?
Jack, show us your team. What are you thinking heading into the game week? Does that sound good to you? Go for it.
Mate, I'm showing template. I think it's an hard one to pick in it. There's not many differentials to pick out your teams this week when you're going on free hit, which wildcard that I've done. I've been looking on Twitter as well, and everyone's got the same bloody team, so it is difficult to pick them out. I'll bring up my share screen now just so you can see what I've done. I've been and ahhing, changing things around, trying to find something different, but yeah, super hard. Steele is in goal at the minute, so I might change him for Iverson, whatever you want to call it, for Leicester. So I might take him out, but he's about 3.8 and playing if Steele isn't going to play, but I'm probably going to leave Steele in, I think. Trent at the back, I've got Stones in there, who's maybe a bit of a differential. I've got Luke Shaw, Botman, and Neco Williams. Midfield, which is pretty template that I've seen online. Marsh, Mitoma, Salah, Grealish, and Rashford. And then up top, Jota, Haaland, and Isaac. Which, I think, pretty similar to Gea in goal. There's my other goalkeeper, as well. So I'm comfortable with it. I've tried to fit as much as I can in. What have I got left? I've got 0.9 left in the bank. So maybe Stones out for trips, but I don't know. I think Stones will be all right, to be fair. But yeah, that's where my team's looking for this game week. My wild card.
Yeah, I like it. It's got obviously 3 Liverpool, 3 City, 3 Brighton, a couple of Newcastle still in there. United. I think with United, you probably struggle to find a third one, right? You've got De Gea, so you have.
Yeah, I got De Gea,
fact. But I mean, as you say, it's difficult to kind of go of anyone else who's wildcarding on Twitter at the moment, and the fixtures don't lie, really, do they? You've got the double coming up in 34, which
it's pretty slim pickings, isn't it? I guess in terms of for this going into where you can find those little differentials. You've got to kind of gamble. I'd love to see anyone else's kind of differentials in the team to see what's different. But
very, very similar to what people have got. I think in terms of what your plan is for 34, you're bench boosting, right?
Bench boosting 34, correct.
So there's not much else you can do. You're kind of set. I mean, that's the thing when you do get to the business end of the season. It's difficult to kind of try and be different and make up ground with the points.
That's it, man. I mean, if Steele's not good, then I think it gives me an option to bring Iverson in from Leicester and then Estupiñán back in defence for someone. Probably with that 0.9, probably I think I may be able to get to him with Neco Williams coming out, possibly, or Nico or Botman. So that's an opportunity. That's the only one. I think maybe some people have gone Watkins ready for this game week against Fulham for Villa instead of one of the top strikers. But I like it. I think that's probably the best way to go at the minute. Something similar or thereabouts.
Yeah, the only thing if I was on a wild card for this week, I'd potentially want to go for if I had the balls, and that's to go for Mahrez, just because he's
Mahrez. Yeah, right.
On the back of the cup game that they won.
Yeah,
you'd expect him to probably start, and Grealish up against Ben White. I don't know. I think Ben White's capable of keeping him quiet. Mahrez maybe against Zinchenko, who's had a bit of a mare lately. You could see him getting something, but you just don't know what Pep's going to do. I think, and I think with Grealish in terms of funds anyway, Grealish he's cheaper than Mahrez.
7 million is, mate. So like Mahrez is like 7.9, I presume. I think 7.6 maybe.
It's just that extra 9.
Same as Gundogan, yeah. Same as Gundogan.
Yeah, it's just because you were saying about that extra 0.9 that you've got, and if you've got it there, you could potentially use it. So that's the only differential I could see where you could pick something that other people aren't going for. Could be a punt, but I don't mind it if you were to go for Mahrez instead of Grealish. So it's up to you, bud.
Yeah, well, Cole
no room for KDB. Well. No room for KDB.
No, I've gone heavy up top, haven't I? And no, I think the only one I'd take out, obviously, you'd upgrade Grealish, but I have to maybe downgrade Rashford to like a Jacob Murphy or something like that, 4.1, or to try and raise a few more funds.
Or
could you get there?
What about the fidget spinner? How much is that guy?
I don't know. I'd go De Bruyne. I'll try and get to De Bruyne if I could. At the minute.
The fidget spinner's more expensive than Rashford, actually. 7.3.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony
more,
is.
isn't he? Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably not
Probably,
ideal.
yeah, I don't know. It's just consistency in it. Who else could you go? I was thinking Martial up top could be a differential as well.
No, it's
Really?
not.
No.
I mean, the
6.3 and it release a bit of cash, bit of extra cash to find Smells, but yeah,
the three you've got up top are the three who are the most informed, really. Bar, outside of really, you've got Watkins and Tony who've been decent. I think they're the three at the minute where the goals are coming in. So, so I think you can't go too wrong with that.
All Spike is on. I've seen a few messages come through. He must be hurting after the FA Cup semi-final. Bloody hell! Yeah, sorry, All Spike. Hope you're good, mate. Though, send my condolences to Marsh. He still made my team. Yeah, despite that crossbar, the ball's still going apparently through Wembley and over to London. Might maybe make its way over here, but all good. He was there as well. Wow, incredible! He was at the game.
Amazing. I mean, what I will say to us, Spike, is very, very unlucky because they were the better side. And in my opinion, I think they played really well.
Create some good opportunities, but yeah, definitely they came across overall generally stronger. I think I agree with you.
Yeah, but yeah, great game. 0-0, 120. Anthony Weetabix likes Martial. He's not wrong, you can't be Martial on a wild card. But yeah, I think you're set, mate. I think you're pretty set. Deadlines tonight.
Chazza, any thoughts, mate?
Not much thinking time, is the Chazza?
Look, can I be honest? I've got to get up at 4 to watch Wolves Palace. That's the only thing I've been thinking about last few minutes.
Up for Wolves Palace. What a guy, yeah.
The dedication there in a game that means nothing to him.
Yeah.
No allegiance to you.
Come on, Chazza, mate. Get the extra Zs in. Don't
yeah, but actually, I need to speak about which player do you think is going to cook it up for you this week, Jack? Going to absolutely cook up a storm.
Cook up a storm?
Who's going to score brace? Who's going to score that double digit?
Jota could run right at West Ham if they've anything like usually right.
And speaking of cooking, I just want to briefly mention that someone who's on camera at the moment met Gordon Ramsay last week. Talk us through that.
Oh, listen, don't want to bring it up. But...
Did he call you an idiot sandwich, Jack? Or
no, but it was funny, mate. Because I went. Obviously, he's a rock star, right? He's so good, isn't he? Gordon, big celebrity, and saw him outside work and walked out, and I was like, "I've got right." Also, just walked up. Oh, my name's Jack from Blackpool. He went, "Fucking hell, that's a shithole, isn't it?" So how did you get out? I was like, "All right, steady, Gordon." But he was very generous with his time as well. So I had a good chat, and I thought he was coming to hand Melbourne victory the wooden spoon, as it was, because we're not doing too good at the bottom of the league. But it was it was good. It was good to meet him and chat with him, and yeah, pretty cool to see him.
Amazing.
That was sick, man.
I just want to, I don't think we spoke about it before when I came in. Which was my setup for this week, the team that I'm picking.
Let's talk about yours, mate. Sorry, yeah. Go on.
It's okay. No,
how are you going to get above me? Come on, show me.
Well, Ivan Toney's going to smash a hat trick against Chelsea because they're absolute toilet. Ollie Watkins is going to come back to form against Fulham at home because Villa at home are unreal, as we've seen against Newcastle. So there's me points there. Jota away to West Ham. Could he get dropped for Nunes? Maybe. Isak as well. Could he get dropped for Wilson? Potentially. And then I've got, differential there, KDB. So, yeah, I mean, the team probably picks itself. It's like many people, the midfield dilemma. Do you play an Arsenal guy? Do you go for a City guy or whatever? It's tough. So Grealish at the moment is the one I'm benching.
KDB's got 25% ownership, by the way. It's not much of a one in four managers going. But in terms of our league, maybe, yeah.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm talking about, Jack. Don't be distracting me. But yeah,
a point for fans. Just making a point.
Yeah, that's true. But would you say I've got that right, Chazza, in terms of my team selection? What you thinking?
Yeah, I like the double villas. I'll give you that. And Tony away at Chelsea, I reckon could do serious Bits. I don't know who the City players on the bench for you.
It's
North
Grealish.
midfield captain. Grealish? What's he doing on the bench?
Marco Jacko been dropped. Can you not take him out for Saka? You're gonna leave Saka
Are you an
on there?
idiot sandwich?
No, mate. I don't know. Saka against it's Ake's injured, so
I feel like you've left a lot of good players on the bench this season, Reedy.
yeah, potentially, but I don't know. I don't want to go triple Newcastle because if
Would you put
Everton
Grealish in for Tony?
that was the issue, but for me, no, because A, Tony's on pens. B, as I say, Chelsea defense is rubbish, and Grealish is playing against Ben White, which I think Ben White's been solid. So for me,
Reason number D as well is because Tony's backed him in a multi at Stamford Bridge.
he's what?
He's backed himself in a multi, so of course he's going to score.
And Tony's free of his ban now, and I'm not talking about the big ban. I'm talking about yellow card ban, so he can't get banned now. So, Mings for there. No, I don't want to go. Don't want to go triple Newcastle defense. I mean, it's very unlikely they'll concede against Everton, who are absolutely abysmal. But if you do go the triple of any team and the clean sheet wipes, that's it. Then it's game over. So I'm quite happy. The fact that Martinez is injured is probably making it a bit easier that I can start Mings, because I know that Mings, if he gets a clean sheet, maybe some bonus. Happy days. If Newcastle keep the clean, Dan Burn will get a standard 6 pointer maybe, but Trippier and Pope are more likely to get the bonus points than him. So that's me thinking. But you never know. You never know. Stupinan might need a rest after that cup game. His legs might be a bit leggy. Burn could then automatically come in. Zinchenko, as I said, Chazza. I just don't want him in the team. But what do I do? I'm rolling this week. That's the decision for me. Roll this week. I'll take 2 into next week.
Cool. Are you putting captain's armband on, mate?
It's there in plain sight. It's got to be the Nordic.
For those listening.
Yogurt Slinger. Yeah. So
I don't mind that.
I like it. Who have you got, Chazza?
I've gone for Manchester's very own now Beano figure, and that's Erling Haaland.
So what about you, Zach, captain? Isaac? Go on.
Go ahead. Go on, son. Go on, son. Jota? Salah?
I'd be going for Isaac or Haaland, I think it'd have to be one of them. I think Isaac's on pens as well.
John Stones?
No. The thing with the wildcard this week is it is a risk. It is a risk. It sets you up for 34. But this week it's a risk because of the Brighton playing the extra time. And, with the fixtures being so compact together over these 3 weeks, you don't know if there's going to be rotations, and it wouldn't surprise us if there is, would it?
I think there's definitely going to be rotations. I think the players who are on the template should be pretty much nailed, however.
But you can't go differential either. You just can't, can you?
It's hard to get away from it, yeah. Like we've already mentioned, it's hard to step away from this kind of template one. It's just, Like, the Jotas, you maybe go Darwin, but after Jota's performance, why would you? Grealish, you can get to KDB, great, but he's fucking mega money, isn't he? So how can you?
Yeah, and you prefer Salah over KDB.
And you prefer Salah, don't you? It's tough, man. It's a tough one to do, but like I said, maybe some players may get rested second game, if not.
Yeah, something I wanted to touch on as well is what's your thoughts on Rashford and Bruno, Jack, in terms of, do you think there's fitness concerns, or they looked a little bit?
I think massively. The amount of games that they've played, man, between them both, and then injuries in between or whatever. But I think it is what it is. We've just got to deal with it. They're going to play it. If they're half fit, they're going to play. Obviously, you saw Rashid and even Shaw come on at half time last week in Europa to try and sort it out or whatever. But it was in the cup. So.
With how bad Spurs are defensively, would you prefer for a...
Listen, Spurs are going to bounce back, and they're not going to... They can't be letting stuff like they did against Newcastle. It ain't going to happen again. Obviously, they've got rid of the coaching team. They're going to go back to a basic, surely, and keep it simple. And Just keep
But
it
would you
strong at the
not,
back.
if you were Ten Hag, would you not be playing Anthony and Sancho and maybe Rashford up front instead? You could put put Eriksen behind Rashford, playing further up.
I think he could. I think there's just somewhere he's got the option for rotation here, but ultimately, if Rash is fit and you've got Bruno, you've got Anthony, and then I think obviously Sancho will probably go to the bench because he's not unbelievable, is he, in terms of form he provides? But I think he'll want to play Martial as well if he's being fit. So I think Rash out left, Anthony out right, Bruno behind. But Bruno's been playing obviously quite deep a lot of the time as well. But it's just been interesting. I think it's quite hard sometimes to tell what Ten Hag's going to do when he's got those headache conundrums. But anyway, we'll see how we go. Anything else before we jump off, lads?
Yeah, there is. I just did a transfer.
Hey, why wouldn't you do it live? What are you doing?
Kane for Jota.
Yeah, that's what I did actually.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go on, son.
Temptation got him.
Is that when you're putting the armband on him as well? Got to change.
He's on vice captain at the moment. Who knows? Should I? Go on.
Yeah. You've got.
Did you want captain or vice?
I don't know. He's on vice at the moment, but
time to make a move, mate. Time to make a gamble.
Yeah. So I'm sure you know all about the casino, Jack.
Yeah. Chazza, you're at 1,960 points. 20 off.
Thanks for reminding me.
20 off Ollie, 30 off, 36 off Reedy, which makes you 39 off me because I'm 3 points above Reedy. And then Elliot Craig, wow, 70 points difference between you, first and last in the podcast mini league. So gamble time.
Yeah, it is.
Gamble time. So
what, for me or what for me? Because I'm catching you up. I'm going to overtake you. Or
no, you've done your gambling. You've got yourself back in the game, mate.
Oh yeah, Tony.
Game on. That's your next one next. I might go and throw some curveballs in my team tonight and see.
Well, we've got the Brighton, Brentford, Chelsea, City, West.
Thing is, the wild card line. Normally, when you wild card, you wouldn't normally change it, would you? The week after, you kind of go right there's your team sort of thing. But what I might do going into game week 33 with Watkins looks good. But need to find something else. Congrats on Spike, 2,027 points for you, mate. Flying. Combs past the 2,000 mark. I'm one short. I'm stuck in 1999. Everybody's partying like it's 1999. Bit of Prince.
Loves it. Purple Rain. Hopefully it'll be Purple Pain for you this week.
Purple Pain. Right, too easy. Yeah, all good. Captain's done. Transfer's done. Chaz has just made his transfer live. Love it.
Yeah.
Rev's out for the week.
Yeah, and we need to pull away from these guys, Jack. He's
Yeah, it's game on now, mate. It's game on. Last 5 game weeks. Big double game week coming up. Bench boost next week. Reedy's out of chips. Got nothing to eat. He's just living on the scraps that he's got on his transfers. I can't wait till you start taking massive hits before the end of the season.
Nah, mate. I've actually done all my planning until game week 38, and there's only one match.
I like it. Right, all good. All right, boys. Listen, great stuff. Well done on the stream. Thanks for carrying the pod, Chazza. You've done a sterling job, my man.
I'm trying to do a very Raheem way about it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, listen, quality. But listen, well done. Great stuff. Good luck for game week 33. Apart from you, Reedy, may all your FPL dreams come true. And we'll see you next time on the FPL Addicts podcast. Take care. There's the king. See you later.